Good afternoon. Let's continue. There's been a long break. You enjoyed yourself? Okay, let's continue with the chapter. The fifth chapter only. We're still on the fifth chapter. That's talking about patterns of social inequality and exclusion. So we've already done how caste excludes people. It acts as a discriminatory system. So the next section of society which is facing prejudice, which is facing discrimination, is the tribals. So we'll cover everything whatever is there in both the books about tribals in this PPT. So Adivasi or the tribes, or they are also called Jana. They are believed to be the people of the forest. They are people believed to be the people of the forest, and because they have been living in the forest and the hills and the isolated areas, and their main occupation of the tribal was always hunting, gathering, collecting honey, practicing shifting cultivation, and they were called the original inhabitants of any place. And the third term Adivasi was coined in 1930. Otherwise, they were always called tribes. Now see here, Bhil. There are many tribes in India. Bhil is the largest tribe of India. According to 2011 census, out of the total population of India, 8.6% comprise the Adivasis. Other Adivasis are namely Gonds, Santhals, Gujars, Meenas. These are all tribal community of our country. The tribals, they are different from us because they lead a different life. They are very closely connected to nature. They have unique bond of kinship relationships. Their main source of livelihood was always agriculture, and they always didn't stay at one place. They moved to one place to another, but within their area only. They had a specific area, like within a forest or a desert. History of tribal people. The tribals of India, like as we think of them now, what when we hear of tribal, we just, what images will come in our mind, that they are the ones who are being discriminated against, or they're not leading a good life or a luxurious life. But this was not the case. If we turn back the pages of history, we do realize that the tribals were not suffering from poverty, or suffer they were not suffering because of poverty or anything like that. They were always at a comfortable and advantageous position in society. There were many ancient tribal kingdoms have been there, like Gond kingdom, Santhal kingdom. So the condition of tribals was not pathetic as it is shown now. The history gives us those proofs. Features of tribe in India. A tribal community, any tribal community take, right now it's not the case because of globalization, modernization, urbanization. People have been moving from one place to another, but overall, traditionally, what was the case, that the tribals, they had a common territory where they moved about. They had a social life which was dominated by kinship relation. They shared one language. Endogamy was practiced. Endogamy is when you practice within your own group. So the tribals, if it's a Meena is a tribe, Garasi is a tribe, Bhil is a tribe, Bodos, Mundas. So they would only marry within their group. They believed in totemism, means they would worship nature. They thought nature was the most powerful one, so they would worship that. And the main economic basis was hunting, gathering of forest products. They have always had a strong feeling of unity, they shared common descent. So these are all the features of tribe in India. Tribe, the career of a concept. So some people, during the 1960s, there was a debate between the scholars. Like some said that tribals are just like us, so they're just like a continuation of the caste system. They're nothing different from that. But some believe that they are completely different. So there was a debate between two set of thinkers, two school of thought. Some believe they are in continuation with the caste system, just an extension of the caste system. Others believe that no, they are completely different from us. So this debate, remember, it was in the year 1960s. Now next comes market. We've already done the chapter, but again I've taken up this here because it relates to tribal. So if you remember, There's a tribal market in Dhurai village. That village is in Bastar district of Chhattisgarh. So that it's a weekly market. So every week the Gond tribe comes there, and the layout of the market and small trinkets are sold there. They will these tribal people, they will come there to the Dhurai village. They will sell whatever they have collected from the forest, from the agriculture, and they'll buy things of their needs like spices, small trinkets, agricultural implements. Alfred Gell is there, an anthropologist. He says that tribal markets always have a layout according to the hierarchy of a group. Like you see in this following picture, the layout of tribal market Dorai based on hierarchy. So in the center you'll see high ranking Rajputs are there. They are seated in the middle. Then you'll have middle ranking Hindu traders, and outside you'll see the tribals. They are facing, because since they're facing discrimination, prejudice, they're excluded. So they have to be seated on the outer circle of the weekly market of Dhurai. Now, classification of tribes. Now, tribes have been classified on two bases. First is permanent traits, and second is acquired traits. So, first we'll do permanent traits. Permanent traits, see here, region wise. Now, in the entire country, India is a vast country, so we have tribals staying all over. So, according to the region where they are staying, they have been divided. Like 85% of the tribals are staying in middle India, like from Gujarat and Rajasthan in the west to West Bengal and Orissa in the east. Then that is one part. The second is some tribals are staying in the northeastern states, and the third is the rest of the country. So this is a classification of tribes on the basis of region. You can see in the map, if you can figure out Gujarat, Rajasthan, from there till Orissa, that's the first. Second is the northeastern, and third is the rest of the India. Again, when you're writing answers in the exam, please make use of flowcharts, mind maps. So here you can see again, northeast includes Assam, and the other states are Arunachal, Meghalaya, Mizoram. You can just please use flowcharts and mind maps in the exam. That's I've shown it here also. Then in terms of language, tribes are categorized into 4 categories. First is the Indo-Aryan. You have to remember the name. Indo-Aryan, Dravidian, Austric, and Tibeto-Burman. 4 classification are there. Okay. On terms of language, the first was on the basis of region. This is all acquired. Permanent traits. So first was region, second is language. Again a flow chart. Then third basis is on the terms of physical racial terms. How you look like, your circumference of the skull, the nose, the eye types and all that, and the hair's texture. So on the basis of physical characteristics, tribes are classified into Negrito, Australoid, Mongoloid, Dravidian and Aryan. Again, you should show everything, whatever you're doing, in the kind of a flow chart. In terms of size, again we can classify the tribes, and the tribals staying in the Andaman Nicobar Islands, they are very few in number. That is small size tribe. Then we have big size tribes also, like Gonds, Bhils, Santhals, Orans, Minos, Bodos and Mundas. Next comes, first all this was permanent traits. See, these 4 were permanent traits classification. Next is acquired traits classification. In this, 2 main criterias are there. First is on the basis of livelihood, and second is on the degree of assimilation. Now on the basis of livelihood, like tribes, they have been doing different they have been into different occupation, into different modes of livelihood. So according to that, they are classified. Like some tribes, they have been fishermen, some have been food gatherers, some have been hunters, shifting cultivators. The second criteria for classifying tribe is degree of assimilation. Now degree of assimilation, please understand, degree of assimilation means since ancient times tribes have been staying in our country now, how much they have assimilated or absorbed or got influenced by the other caste, by the mainstream Hindu society, by the like or the caste system. That is degree of assimilation. A degree means to what extent they have been absorbed into the mainstream or they have been influenced by the mainstream. These are the two criterias. Again a flowchart to show that. So whatever you write, you please make the flowchart also of that. Mainstream attitude towards tribes. Like there was a debate in which year? Remember? 1960. Whether they should be considered as the continuum of the main society or they should be considered totally different. Now, mainstream attitude towards us, like sociologists had two views about the tribes. One set of sociologists, they were called isolationists, others were integrationists. Isolationist sociologists, these set of sociologists, they had a strong belief that tribals have their different culture, they have their own way of life, their culture, everything is very different from us, so they should be isolated and not be mixed up with the mainstream, because it would not be good for them, they would be exploited. The other set of sociologists, they called integrationist. They said that tribes are also part of society, so they should not be kept separate and they should be included or integrated into the main society. Now, Adivasi struggle. Adivasis. See, Adivasis, as in the ancient times, I just told you that when we turn back the pages of history, we realize that there were many rich kingdoms, many of them tribal kingdoms like the Gond kingdoms and all, which showed that the tribals were not always suffering from poverty and all, but with the passage of time, they were being exploited. Uh, if we see during the colonial rule, the Britishers had only come to India to take away all the raw material and to exploit India. First, no, they had come to trade. Then later on, they realized they can just exploit India. So they, during that time, for all the forest are who are the original inhabitants of forest? The tribes, because that's why they are called the forest, the people of the forest. So the forest was taken away by the Britishers for collecting timber or for setting up roads, railway tracks. So the tribals who were staying in the forest, they lost the livelihood, they lost everything and they became poorer, insecure. Their condition became pathetic during the colonial rule in India. So that's why they would ultimately struggle. So 1947, when India became independent, it was thought that the condition of the tribes would be better, but it was not the case. The exploitation of the Adivasis became more and more stronger, even till 1990, the year when liberalization was there. Liberalization is loosening of the government restrictions for development, for setting up of industries. So that saw that the the condition of the tribals worsened, became more pathetic on the name of national development. So during the Nehruvian era means, you understand, Nehruvian means during the times of Jawaharlal Nehru, on the name of national development, the tribals' land was taken away because they are the ones staying in the forest rich areas, the mineral rich areas. So many dams like Sardar Sarovar Dam, Polavaram Dam, many dams were built in the areas of the tribal people. So they were displaced from their lands and they were not even given proper compensation. The price was not enough for them to lead a good life. They were displaced, they were forced to go to the cities, work as laborers, daily wage laborers, and the condition worsened even more, and that too all the name of national development. And they were the ones who were not even getting the benefit or reaping the benefit of the national development. Tribal identity today. When we think or when we hear the word tribal, what comes in? We the pictures of tribal struggling or they getting into a social movement. So the tribal identity today are centered on the ideas of resistance and opposition to the non-tribal world. because they have been uh, uh, forcefully pushed into being the part of the mainstream, and they're not able to adjust, and also that is why there are many revolts, many struggles from the tribal side. Like if you see some states of northeast which were altogether tribe had the population of tribal majority, now are struggling because there are many outsiders who have gone into the tribal areas. They are exploiting the tribals there. But gradually there is always a good side also. Means gradually the tribals are government is taking steps, and is not very successful, but is taking steps to improve the conditions, to give job opportunities to the tribals, to make them educated, to get some provisions for them. So there is a educated middle class of tribals which has emerged today, and they are fighting for their people. Jharkhand, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, these are some states which have been newly formed in India. Jharkhand was formed in 2000 by under the because of the leadership of Birsa Munda. He started a struggle for the state of Jharkhand because they thought that their rights are not being looked into, so they wanted a separate state for themselves. So Jharkhand was formed out of Bihar. Tribal movements all over the country share common issues. Common issues means common problems. Like tribals are into a movement. Why? Because of discrimination, exploitation, poverty, illiteracy, displacement, marginalization. Marginalize means you you are making them get aside, move aside, and not letting them enjoy the equal opportunities, injustice which the tribals are facing, inequality, alienation of tribals from the forest which was their homeland. They are forced to be an alien into that. Many of the tribal movements have emerged over time, and many are still continuing. Jharkhand we've already done. Leader was Birsa Munda. See, I just told you. Khons, they are tribes. This is a tribal area of Odisha where people are still fighting for their land. This is a picture of the tribals of Orissa. Provision by the government for the main thing the government has done for the tribals is that the government has reserved seats for the SCs and the STs. Reservation is the main weapon which the government is using to eliminate or to eradicate the discrimination, the prejudice, the inequality prevalent in our society, and to bring at par the tribals with the others in society. And the government has also made some laws, so government is taking steps. Let's hope in future there will be inequality in our society.